I said she was studying abroad. I believed her until my buddy sent me a photo. There she was, heavily pregnant, holding some guy's arm. I stared for 3 seconds, closed the chat and texted someone else. What did you say your brother's name was? Zhao Hanwen. Why? My hand shook, spraying cola all over my screen. Talk about a crazy coincidence. Bro, you got cheated on. When he slammed his phone on the table, the guy at the grill next to us flinched, dropping a skewer into the coals. I looked at the screen. The photo was a bit blurry, but clear enough. Linro was wearing a white dress, her hair longer than when she left, her face a bit rounder. She was holding Zhao Hanwen's arm. She was smiling, her other hand resting on her baby bump. The background was a European street with French road signs. Do you see this? Zhang Duo's voice shot up an octave as he leaped off his plastic stool. He jabbed the screen so hard his fingernail almost cracked the glass. That is you're pregnant in France with your college senior. I grabbed a grilled kidney and took a bite. Yeah. Zhang Duo stared at me like a golden retriever abandoned at a highway rest stop. Just yeah. You're as having a baby with another guy in Europe. And all you can say is yeah. I kept chewing. I swallowed and wiped my mouth. Zhang Duo, I actually found out about this 2 months ago. He froze. A half-eaten garlic oyster hovered near his open mouth, juice dripping down his fingers. Two months ago. Yeah, I took a sip of beer. A week before she flew out, I found something in her suitcase. Deep in her suitcase, I found a pregnancy test with 2 lines. We hadn't touched each other in 3 months. She claimed she was too stressed studying for exams. Then she flew off. She even cried at the airport, saying she'd miss me and telling me to wait so we could get married. Zhang Duo slowly set his oyster down. He gripped the table, knuckles turning white. Shen, you give me their address. I'm flying to France right now to break his legs. Sit down. I will not sit. He sat down anyway, shaking like an overloaded washing machine. Why didn't you tell me sooner? You've bottled this up alone for 2 months. His eyes actually welled up. I put my chopsticks down, finding it almost funny. He was 10 times more worked up than I was. There was nothing to bottle up, I said. Sure, I didn't sleep the night I found out. Drank half a bottle of whiskey. But the next day I saw the truth. What truth? The day she left, she wouldn't even let me near the security gate. She said it was too crowded. What a joke. She was just terrified I'd spot Zhao Hanwen with her. Zhang Duo went quiet, then slammed his fist on the table. A beer bottle tipped over, pouring foam straight onto his lap. He didn't even notice. How can you laugh? Are you Buddha? I laughed. Because of something else. I pulled out my phone, opened a chat, and turned the screen toward him. The contact pinned at the top had a Lasan emoji as her nickname. Her profile picture showed a girl with a sharp chin and a tiny mole on her collarbone. Zhang Duo looked once, looked twice, and leaned in, squinting. Who is this? My girlfriend. Your girlfriend. His voice cracked so loud the couple at the next table stared. Shen Yu. Since when do you have a girlfriend? Why didn't I know? Since last month. I just haven't had a chance to tell you. Last month. You told me you were working overtime every weekend. I asked you to play ball. You said overtime. Dinner, overtime. Even when I invited you to the spa, you said overtime. You were working overtime on dating, weren't you? I stayed quiet. What is her name? He asked, staring at the screen. Zhaoni. Pretty name. Wait, he looked up, his eyes widening. Zhao which? Zhao, like the common Yeah, no. I mean, your senior's name is Zhao Hanwen, and your girlfriend's surname is also Zhao. Zhang Duo blinked 3 times. I could practically hear the gears grinding in his head until they locked up with a loud click, like an old computer right before a blue screen. What is her relationship to Zhao Han? I picked up a skewer of grilled chives and chewed slowly. Take a guess. I don't want to guess. Just tell me. She's his younger sister. Zhang Duo threw himself back. The plastic stool groaned and gave out. He fell backward, nearly cracking his head on the support beam behind us. Fortunately, he managed to catch himself with both hands in a highly awkward pose. He froze in that ridiculous position, staring up at the night sky from the floor. His lips twitched for a solid 10 seconds, before he finally managed to mutter, "Holy crap, that's savage." I looked down at him. You getting up? Give me a minute. Your lap is wet. It's just beer. He scrambled up, pants soaked. The girls nearby giggled behind their hands. Zhang Duo ignored the embarrassment, grabbing my shoulders so hard he almost pushed me through the stool. So let me get this straight. Your goal is to have a baby with Zhao Hanwen and you hook up with his actual sister. Is this a revenge plot? No, it is a complete coincidence. Coincidence. When I met her, I had no idea who her brother was. By the time I found out, we were already in love. Zhang Duo slowly sat back down. His expression shifted from shock to disbelief, then to pure admiration, finally settling on absolute reverence. Shen Yu, from today on, you are my god. I kicked his stool leg. Eat your food. He picked up his chopsticks, hands still shaking. He dropped a piece of pork belly 3 times before finally getting it into his mouth. He chewed twice, then froze. Wait, does Zhao Hanwen know? Not yet. What happens when he finds out? I finished my beer. It will be interesting. I gestured to the owner for another bottle. That is when things get fun. I met Xiao Nianku 4 months ago. I was idling in a bookstore at the mall, with no real purpose. I just didn't want to go home. The empty apartment was depressing. Linru's slippers were still by the door, her skincare bottles lined up on the sink. There was even yogurt in the fridge she bought before leaving. 3 days expired. I just wanted to escape that place. The bookstore was quiet. I pulled a thriller off the shelf, flipped a few pages, and then a pile of hardcovers fell from above, and one heavy book landed squarely on my right foot. A 400-page hardcover, pain shot straight from my toes to my brain. Oh my God, I am so sorry. A girl peeked out from behind the shelves, clutching 2 books she had managed to save. She wore an off-white hoodie and a baseball cap pulled low, but it couldn't hide her wide, panicked eyes. I'm so sorry. I was reaching for the top shelf and lost my grip. Are you okay? I looked down. There was a nasty dent on my brand new sneakers. I'm fine, I said. Then I smiled. Actually, I think my toe might be broken. Oh no, really? Do you need to sit down? Let me see. She squatted down, reaching for my foot. I took a step back. No, really, I'm fine. She stood up, biting her lip, her face flushed with embarrassment. Let me buy you a coffee to make it up to you. The place across the street is great. I was going to refuse, but she looked genuinely guilty. Plus, I had nothing else to do, so I said sure. That single word changed everything. We talked for over an hour. Her name was Zhao Ni. She was 2 years younger than me, working as a graphic designer. She gestured wildly when she spoke, and her eyes crinkled into beautiful crescents. She had no idea about mine because I had already purged my social media of Linro. We exchanged contacts before leaving. Her avatar was a cartoon dog, and she saved my name as the book target. 3 days later, she texted to ask if my foot had healed. She sent a heart emoji, immediately unsent it, and replaced it with a formal fist. Seeing that deleted notification made me laugh for the first time in months. A real, genuine laugh from deep down. After that, everything flowed naturally. Dinners, movies, walks, and movies. She took me to her favorite art studio to paint wood. I created some unrecognizable blob. She tilted her head, studying it before saying, "It's a wounded seal contemplating life at sunset." I looked at my canvas. I was trying to paint an apple. Yep, exactly, I said with a straight face. On our 3rd month together, she sat in the passenger seat and suddenly grew quiet under the passing street. I have an older brother. You know, he is kind of annoying, and my mom spoils him. If you meet him, he might make trouble for you. Why? He thinks no man on earth is good enough for me. I smiled. I actually agree with him on that. She looked up startled, then turned to stare out the window, her ears flushing red. That was the first time I felt a genuine spark. It was so different from Linro. Linro felt like a tailored suit, proper, fitting, and praised by everyone. But Nianku was like an old, favorite hoodie. Once you put it on, you never wanted to take it off. 6 weeks in, she asked to meet at the same cafe, in the exact same spot. She ordered warm water, nervously spinning her cup. What's wrong? I have some news. She took a deep breath. I'm pregnant. It's twins. The jazz music kept playing in the background. My mind went blank for 3 seconds, and then I said something even I didn't expect. Tears immediately welled in her eyes. You are not angry. Why would I be? Because we have only been together a month. A month is plenty of time to know one thing. What? You are worth it. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve, her nose red like a wet puppy. I handed her a tissue, my own hands trembling slightly. But it wasn't from fear, it was pure excitement. It was the thrill of the universe finally giving me a win. That night, I told Jung Dua. He went quiet for a long time. Then, in a tone I had never heard him use, he said, "Wait, twins. In 1 month, are you a tactical genius or just a god? Can you be normal?" "Fine. Congratulations." "What is her full name?" "Zhao Ni." Zhao, another long pause. "Is her brother's name Zhao Hanwan?" I froze. "How did you know?" "At the company party last year, he brought his sister to crash the bar. Off-white hoodie, baseball cap. She was stunning. So your ex ran off with Zhao Hanwan to have his kid and you got with his sister. And now she is having your twins. Spot on. A loud crash echoed through the phone. "Jung Dua, I just crushed my favorite coffee mug, the thick ceramic one. Are you a grizzly bear?" "I am just excited. Listen, this is the ultimate karma. He stole your woman. You've got his sister. He is having 1 kid. You are having 2. This is not just revenge. It is cosmic justice." I rubbed my temples. I am not seeking revenge. I genuinely love her. I know, but you have to admit, it is incredibly satisfying. I hung up, threw my phone on the bed, and stared at the ceiling. Satisfying. I would be lying if I said no. But mostly, it felt completely absurd, like a giant cosmic joke, switching my life into a dark comedy. I closed my eyes, picturing Zhao Hanwen's face when he eventually finds out. A grin crept onto my face. Oh well, if Destiny is hosting a party, I might as well enjoy the ride. The truth came out sooner than expected. Not from him, but from the Lin family. On Saturday at 2:30 p.m., I was assembling a crib. The doorbell rang. My mom opened it. Standing there were Lin Ru's parents, along with Auntie Wong. the neighborhood matchmaker, carrying a premium bottle of liquor. Her dad wore a brand new jacket. His hair slicked back and shoes shined to a mirror finish. Her mom had fresh curls and bright lipstick. She clutched a gold handbag under her arm. They were beaming like two gods of wealth. Before even stepping inside, Auntie Wong cheered. "Oh, Mrs. Shen, we are here to discuss happy news. It is time to set the wedding date." My mom's smile froze instantly, and she turned toward the living room. My dad set down his paper and took off his reading glasses in silence. 2 weeks ago I had told them everything, showing them the pregnancy test, the photos, and the hotel logs. My mom's reaction back then was 10 minutes of silence, followed by chopping meat in the kitchen for a solid hour. She nearly split the wooden cutting board. My dad was even calmer. He just took his glasses off, put them back on, repeated it 7 times, and said, "Okay, got it." Now, the Lin sat on our couch with huge smiles. Auntie Wong chirped, "I think October is perfect for a wedding." "Wong," my dad said. His voice was soft, but the living room went dead. Silent. "There is not going to be a wedding." Lin Gudong's smile froze. "Old Shen, you're joking, right?" My dad glanced at me. I walked out of my room holding a thick manila envelope. Lin Gudong's eyes darted back and forth. "Yo, what is that?" I tossed the envelope on the coffee table and pulled out the contents, laying them out one by one. First, flight records for Lin Ro and Zhao Hanwen, adjacent seats on the same flight. Second, photos of them hugging on a French street. Third, registration papers from a private French maternity clinic. The patient name matched Lin Ru's English name. Fourth, screenshots of his secret social media accounts showing their French apartment, breakfast for 2, and baby socks. As the evidence piled up, her dad's face grew whiter with every page. By the third paper, his mouth fell open. Her lips began to tremble. By the fourth photo, her glasses slid down her nose. This can't be real." Zhang Hufan gripped her purse so hard her knuckles cracked. "This is BS. You can Photoshop anything these days." I crouched down and pulled out the final item from the envelope, a screenshot from a video. The screenshot showed Lin Ro in her pajamas, sitting on a strange sofa. Behind her was a blurry, shirtless Zhao Hanwen walking out of the bathroom. 2 months ago, Lin Ro video called me at 3 in the morning. She'd probably dialed the wrong number while drunk, hanging up in shock after 2 seconds. But I took a screenshot. I screen recorded it too. Zhang Hufan's face went from flushed to pale as ash. She gasped, making a wheezing sound. Lin Gudong bolted up from the couch, hands slamming onto the marble coffee table, his fingernails scraping the surface. "Shen Yu," he tried to speak, but the words seemed to choke him. He could only take a deep breath and point a shaking finger right at my nose. "Even if Roro made a mistake, it is because you could not control her. If you had treated her better, would she have run away?" I just stared at his trembling finger. Honestly, I was not even angry. It is typical for a doting father to blame his son. "Uncle Lin," my voice remained calm. "Zhao Hanwan and Lin Ro were together in college. She only got engaged to me because his family did not approve of him dating back then. As soon as he graduated, she ran right back to him. From start to finish, I was just a backup. Your daughter's safety net." Lin Gudong's hand froze in his lips trembled, but he could not find his voice. Zhang Hufan finally snapped out of it, jumping up so fast her knees slammed into the coffee table. She doubled over in pain, her purse flying out and scattering lipstick, powder, and cash all over the floor. Among the mess was a folded hotel confirmation for a wedding banquet. Everyone stared at it. "You already booked it," Aunt Wong whispered. Zhang Hufan's face turned crimson. She had unilaterally booked the venue and even printed the invitations, which were tucked in her purse pink paper with gold foil lettering, reading Shen Yu and Lin Ro. I picked up the card, glanced at it and said, "Nicely printed. Too bad." I tossed it back onto the table. "Uncle Lin, Aunt Zhang, now that you have seen the truth, we are done. Please leave." Lin Gudong stood there, looking like a tree with its roots ripped out. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Instead, he quietly gathered their scattered belongings and shoved them back into her purse. Zhang Hufan began to sob, muttering about the betrothal gifts. "We will return every single cent," my mother said, stepping out of the kitchen with a large shopping bag. Inside were the cigarettes, alcohol, and jewelry boxes the Lin family had sent us. She set the bag by the entryway. "Everything is here. Take it and go. Watch your step." The 4 of them slunk out the door. The second it slammed shut, Zhang Hufan's wails echoed down the hallway. My dad put his reading glasses back on and turned to the page of his newspaper. "No need to play nice next time," he said, not looking up. "You should have sent a digital copy of those photos straight to their family group chat." "Dad, that is social suicide. I am not that cruel." "You need to be ruthless," my mother snapped. "She was playing you the entire time, and carrying another man's child." I went back to my room to finish building the baby crib. As I tightened a screw, my phone buzzed. Zhou Nianku texted, "What are we having for dinner?" with a drooling emoji. I sent her a photo of the half-built crib. "Let me finish this first." "What do you want?" "Spicy fried chicken." The doctor said less spicy. "Fine. Mild then." I put down my phone, smiling. After leaving that toxic relationship behind, my life finally felt bright again. The day Zhao Hanwen called, I was at the supermarket picking out yogurt for Nia. Hey Shen Yu. His tone was dripping with smug satisfaction and mock pity, like a boxer consoling the guy he just knocked out. Long time no see. I heard you and Lin Ro called off the wedding. I stopped my cart by the cooler and checked the date on a strawberry yogurt. I know this is hard to swallow. I am fine. Do not pretend. Her being with me is not your fault. It is just fate. That kind of fate is called cheating. Senior Zhao just called me. We are not in the same social circle anymore, so no need to be formal. I took a deep breath, tossed the yogurt into my cart and said, sure, huh? He paused. He probably did not expect me to be so cooperative. I have a quick question. Where does your family usually have New Year's dinner? A restaurant or at home? Silence on the line for 2 seconds. What is that supposed to mean? Just wondering what gift I should bring. Does your mother prefer flowers or fruit? Silence stretched 3, 4, 5 seconds. Shen Yu, what are you playing at? Oh right, one more thing. I propped my phone on my shoulder, checking the label of another yogurt. When is your sister's birthday? I want to get her a gift. Why would you? He choked up. My sister, why are you bringing her up? Just caring. Are we close? Are you dating her? Why don't you ask her yourself? I tossed the yogurts into the cart and pushed it forward. By the way, does she like strawberry? Shen Yu, explain yourself right now. Calm down. Senior. Bad for your heart. I hung up. Zhang Duo was standing by the spice shelf, clutching a jar of chili sauce, having heard everything. His eyes were wide as saucers. Were you just his brain had completely overloaded? Were you baiting Zhao Han? No, I genuinely want to know if his mother prefers flowers or fruit. We are bound to meet sooner or later. Zhang Duo squeezed the jar tighter, as if seeking comfort. Shen Yu, you look completely harmless. But the moment you open your mouth, you spike people's blood pressure to 200. I am flattered. It is not a compliment. It is a crime. That night, Zhao Hanwen called his sister. Nian Ku sat on the couch with her head on my lap, putting the call on speaker. His voice exploded from the phone. Zhao Nianku, are you dating a guy named Shen Yu? Nianku looked up at me while biting an apple. Have you lost your mind? Do you know who he is? I know. He is my boyfriend. He is Lin Ru's ex. How could you? Zhao Hanwen's voice sounded like ice cubes in a blender. Completely scrambled. Nianku waited. After 10 seconds, Zhao Hanwen finally pieced together a sentence. You are dating your brother's rival. Are you trying to kill me? Nianku tossed her apple core into the trash. Brother, let us get one thing straight first. What? He did not wrong you. You stole his fiancée and now he is with his rival's sister. This is karma, not a rivalry. Zhao Hanwen's breathing became terrifyingly heavy, and Nianku interrupted, her voice turning incredibly calm. I am pregnant. Zhao Hanwen's breathing stopped completely. The line went dead silent for 5 seconds. PR pregnant. With twins. Another 5 seconds passed, and then we heard a loud thud. It sounded like something hard cracking against a desk. I figured he had slumped his forehead onto the table. Zhao Hanwen. Nianku asked, are you okay? The line was dead. She put her phone down and looked at me. He seems upset. Yeah, I noticed. Do you think he will do something crazy? Let him. If he dares to touch you, I will find someone to beat him up. Nianku tilted her head, smiling. Who? Zhang Duo. He is built like a tank. And you. I will record it and post it online. She laughed, tossing an apple core at me. I caught it. After she fell asleep, I lay awake thinking. Hanwen's reaction was entirely expected, but things were about to get chaotic. His parents would find out eventually. And so would Linro. The thought of all of us sitting at the same table one day was incredibly entertaining. On the day of her prenatal checkup, a hilarious scene unfolded. Originally, I did not plan on bringing Zhang Duo along, but somehow, he got a t-shirt printed with "World's Most Handsome Uncle." When he showed up at my door wearing it, Nianku laughed so hard she doubled over. Meet my buddy, I told her. Zhang Duo, the self-proclaimed uncle. I was chosen by heaven. Zhang Duo patted his chest. Hello, the kid's allowance is on me. Nianku smiled and waved. The three of us drove to the maternity hospital. The waiting room was packed with pregnant women and families. Zhang Duo sat on a plastic chair, looking around awkwardly. I do not think I belong here, he whispered. You wore a shirt that says "World's Most Handsome Uncle," and now you are complaining. I mean, it is mostly women I stick out. You are here with me, but look at them. That auntie definitely thinks I sell insurance. I ignored him. When her name was called, Nianku lay on the examination table. The doctor guided the ultrasound probe across his stomach, revealing 2 blurry shapes on the screen. He adjusted the angle and smiled. Congratulations, Dad. The twins look great. One is slightly larger, but both are perfectly healthy. I stared at the screen at those 2 tiny figures, curled up on opposite sides like 2 peanuts in a shell. My chest tightened, and my eyes welled up. I quickly turned away, pretending to look out the window. Nianku tugged my sleeve. Are you crying? No. Your eyes are red. Just a draft. In a hospital, the AC. She burst out laughing. Zhang Duo craned his neck from the doorway. The moment he saw those 2 little shadows, this 6'1", 200-pound giant started sobbing. The nurse jumped. Sir, who are you? I am the uncle, he blubbered, wiping his tears. Nyanku laughed so hard she could barely sit up. When we left the room, a woman in her 50s with short hair and a tailored gray coat was waiting at the end of the hall, holding some fruit. Seeing Nyanku, she beamed. Nyanku's face went pale. Mom, what are you doing here? My future mother-in-law walked over quickly. Your dad said you had an exam, so I wanted to check on you. Her gaze shifted behind Nyanku, landing first on Jiangdua in his ridiculous shirt, and then on me. Her smile froze. And who is this? Mom, this is Shen Yu, my boyfriend. She sized me up. Shen Yu, she murmured, her brow furrowing. So you are Shen Yu? Hello, auntie. She did not reply. Her expression looked like an old computer loading, with the progress bar stuck at 47%. I knew exactly what she was thinking. Hanwen must have ranted about me being a useless loser, the pathetic guy he stole Lin Ro from. Now, that same guy was standing right before her, and had gotten her daughter pregnant. Her loading bar finally completed, her mouth twitched. Shen Yu, what does your family do? The classic intro, not about my character, but about my family's financial status. Translated, it means, are you wealthy? We do a bit of business, I said, leaving out that the Shen Group is a $31.2 billion public empire. What kind of business? Just trade and logistics. Her frown did not lift. She turned to Nyanku. Come here for a second. The two walked over to the corner, whispering. I watched Nyanku's face shift from nervous to resolute, then to slightly defensive. She walked back to me. My mom wants to invite you to dinner tomorrow night. Are you free?
Yes.
Did she say anything else? She hesitated. What is it? She said you look slightly better than she expected, but only slightly. I glanced at her mother, who was furiously typing on her phone. I could easily guess the text. Old Zhao. Emergency. Our daughter's boyfriend is that Shen Yu your son always rants about. She is pregnant with twins. Get home now to discuss. Zhongduo leaned in. Nervous. No. Your hands are shaking. I looked down. He was right. The AC is freezing. Why do you have the same excuse as Shut up. He went quiet for 3 seconds. If they give you a hard time tomorrow, flip the table. It is dramatic. Then I will rush in to restrain you. We will coordinate. You watch too many dramas. I am your brother. His tone suddenly grew serious. I will not let anyone look down on you. I stared at him. The idiot in the ridiculous t-shirt was actually showing some sincerity. Thanks, man, do not mention it. But you owe me a massive dinner. Sure, I choose the place, and you pay. Do I not always pay? Just confirming. The next evening was even more intense than I expected. The dinner was at the Zhao family's old 3-story house, with osmanthus trees filling the yard. A black Mercedes S-Class was parked out front. When I arrived, Nyanku was already waiting for me at the door. She wore a light blue dress, her hair tied in a low ponytail, looking incredibly gentle yet anxious. She squeezed my hand, her palm slick with sweat. Do not be scared, I whispered. I am not, she lied, squeezing tighter. Okay, maybe a little. The door opened. A middle-aged man in his early 50s stood there, his hair graying at the temples. He wore a simple polo shirt, his expression highly disciplined. He swept his gaze over me, then stepped aside. Come on in, just 3 words. No pleasantries, no smile, but no obvious hostility either. Inside, his wife was setting the table. Seeing me, her lips twitched into a forced smile. Ah, Shen Yu is here. Have a seat. The dining table was loaded with a massive feast: braised ribs, steamed fish, garlic shrimp, and chicken soup, the ultimate son-in-law interrogation menu. Just as I pulled out my chair, footsteps echoed from the staircase. His heavy footsteps felt like they were trampling on my heart. Zhao Hanwen appeared at the top of the stairs in a black hoodie, looking noticeably raw. The moment he saw me, his steps halted, and he froze on the stairs. The air instantly became so tense, you could slice it. Nyanku gave my hand a tight squeeze, as Hanwen stared at her. Then he glared at me, a vein throbbing on his temple. Finally, he averted his gaze and sat down across from us. I let out a silent sigh of relief. At least he didn't start a fight right there. The table was dead silent, save for the clinking of bowls and Mother Zhao quietly urging us to eat. Father Zhao didn't say a word. Zhao Hanwan hadn't looked at me once, burying his face in his rice as if trying to dig through the bowl. Nyanku sat beside me, keeping my plate piled high. The 4th time she placed a rib in my bowl, Hanwan slammed his chopsticks down, his eyes bloodshot enough. Nyanku, do you have to rub it in my face? I'm just feeding my boyfriend, is that showing off? Her voice was as calm as a still lake. Then what do you call it when you and Lin Rong were flaunting your lives in France on social media? Hanwen's face flushed red. That was different. How? Hanwen pointed a trembling finger at me. He only got close to you to get back at me. Nyanku set down her chopsticks. When we got together, we had no idea he was the loser you always complained about. And he didn't know I was your sister. Who are you blaming for this? Fate. Hanwen practically roared. How could fate be so enough? Father Zhao spoke. It wasn't loud, but the room instantly fell silent. He set down his chopsticks, wiped his mouth, and stared at his son. His gaze was heavy as lead. You got another man's pregnant and ran off to a foreign country. Now that man is with your sister. What right do you have to complain? Hanwen opened his mouth. Dad, I'm not finished. Father Zhao cut him off. You stole his woman, and he didn't cause trouble. Instead, your sister fell for him herself. What right do you have to interfere? Is it any of your business? Hanwen gritted his teeth. But why him? Why does he get to? Mother Zhao finally spoke up, her tone incredibly calm. By the right that your sister is pregnant with twins, while that girl of yours abroad doesn't even have a marriage license. Tell me, which of you is actually more responsible? Zhao Hanwen's face flushed with anger. He stood up abruptly, his chair clattering backward. You are all siding with an outsider. You all think I'm the one to blame. If it's not your fault, is it your sister's? Mother Zhao stood up too. She was short, but her sheer presence dominated the entire table. Zhao Hanwan, when you sneaked Lin Rong out of the country, did you discuss it with us? Your father and I only found out you were in France through your social media. You live your own life in a complete mess, so what right do you have to judge? Hanwen's Adam's apple bob. It wasn't anger, but the raw grievance of feeling completely ganged up on. Honestly, right then, I felt a tiny bit of pity for him. Just a sliver. Then he turned to me, his voice dropping to a raspy whisper. What do you really want? Shen Yu, did you date my sister just to embarrass me? I laid down my chopsticks and looked him dead in the eye. What do you want, Han? Listen closely, I didn't pursue Nyanku because of you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. We met in a bookstore. She dropped a copy of 100 Years of Solitude right on my foot. Back then I didn't know her last name was Zhao. I didn't know she had a brother. And I certainly didn't know her brother was you. I paused. I love her for who she is, not to spite you. But honestly, I took a sip of tea. It really does spite you, doesn't it? Let's just call that destiny. Hanwen stared at me, his lips trembling. Then he turned and stormed upstairs, his heavy footsteps shaking the house until his bedroom door slammed shut, making the chandelier vibrate. Mother Zhao sighed and sat back down. Ignore him. Let's eat. The chicken soup is getting cold. Nyanku ladled a bowl for me. I took a sip. It was delicious. Mother Zhao glanced at me. Shen Yu, I don't care what your family does, but if you ever mistreat Chuku, I will come after you with a knife. Auntie, don't worry. I'm not worried, she said, pushing another bowl of soup toward me. But you do look much more reliable than my own son. Nyanku nudged my leg under the table. I looked at her. She was beaming, her eyes sparkling. I finished the soup. At the bottom of the bowl was a red date. I scooped it up and ate it. It was sweet. The day Lin Rong returned was a Wednesday. She posted a 9-photo grid on social media. The first was the view from the plane window. The second was the baby in her arms, wrapped in a beige blanket. The third was a side profile of Hanwen pushing a stroller. The fourth 2/8 photos were various staged shots of a peaceful, beautiful life. The 9th photo was just text on a plain white background. Love finds a way. Love crosses mountains and seas. Her caption read, bringing my little angel home. Grateful for everything. Below, the comment section was filled with sweet blessings. Oh my gosh. So happy. The baby is adorable. Now that she's back, we have to get together. I only saw this post because Zhang Dula sent it to me. She had deleted me long ago. Along with the screenshot, Zhang Duo sent 7 voice messages. The first, did you see this? The second, she is so shameless. The third, crosses mountains and seas. The fourth, more like crosses you. The one they crossed was you. The 5th or 7th messages were just straight up swearing. I didn't even play them. I was in the study drafting blueprints, measuring the nursery Nyanku helped design. She was lounging on the sofa, eating a peach, seeing my phone buzzing constantly. She peered over. It's nothing, I said. Lin Rong is back. She hummed and went back to her peach. After 2 bites she paused. How are you feeling? About what? About her being back. I spun my chair around. I'm literally trying to figure out which wall the crib goes on. Do you think I have time to worry about anyone else? She smiled. Fair point. Toss that peach pit in the trash. Don't drop it on the couch. I know. She threw it, landing it perfectly in the trash can 6 feet away. Nice shot. I used to play basketball. Middle school team. I wondered how many more hidden talents she had that I didn't know about. The news of Lin Rong's return was like a pebble thrown into a calm pond, the ripples spreading fast. That very night, our mutual friend Joe K called me. He was my college roommate, the only one who stayed neutral between Hanwan and me. He hesitated on the phone for a while before finally saying, Hey you, Lin Rong is back. You know that? I know. She doesn't seem to know about you and Nia. She'd even asked about you in the group chat, saying she wanted to meet up and talk. Talk about what? Who knows? Probably just for show. After all, she never gave you closure before running off. I leaned back in my chair. Joe K, does she know Nyanku is pregnant? No. Hanwen probably hasn't told her. He's still in shock himself. Then let her find out on her own. You're not going to tell her. No need. She'll find out soon enough. After hanging up, I scrolled through my timeline. A week ago, I had posted a photo of 2 ultrasound scans side by side under a soft filter, captioned with just 2 words, waiting. Below it, Zhang Dua had commented, Uncle on duty. The world's handsomest uncle is ready. This post was visible to everyone, including mutual friends who still talked to Lin Rong. The news would reach her in 2 days max. Sure enough, the next afternoon, Joe K messaged me again. Lin Rong saw your post. She kept asking who your girlfriend is. I didn't tell her, but she's digging around on her own. Half an hour later, my phone rang. A strange number with a French country code. I picked up. Hello? Lin Rong's voice was different now. The forced sweetness was gone, replaced by something tense like a tightly wound string. Do you have a new girlfriend? Who is she? Why do you care? I just want to know who you are actually with. That ultrasound. Did you get her pregnant? Her breathing grew heavy. I've only been gone for a few months. And you, Lin Rong, I interrupted. When you were in France, walking around pregnant with Zhao Han, you didn't exactly have the right to interrogate me. The line went dead silent for 5 seconds. You knew. I found out a long time ago. Then why didn't you say anything? There was no need. You made your choice, and I made mine. Who was your choice? I didn't answer. Shen, you tell me. Go ask Xiao. The phone rang 3 more times, but I ignored it. The 4th time, a voice message came from a brand new WeChat account with her baby's photo as the avatar. She was trying to add me on a new account. I didn't play the voice message, but the preview showed the first words. Shen, you. I blocked the account and opened Nyanka's chat. What do you want for dinner tonight? Hot pot. Last time you had hot pot, your stomach ached. Maybe a mild personal pot or clear broth is fine. Fine. Clear broth, it is. A minute later, she sent a meme of a Shiba Inu drooling next to a hot. I set my phone down. I wasn't sure when Lin Rong figured out Nyanku's identity, but Joe K told me later that she called Hanwin that night for a 47-minute call. Joe K didn't know what they talked about, but he knew that afterward Hanwin smashed his tablet, went out and got hammered and threw up all over the back of a taxi, costing him a 200 yuan cleaning fee. Now, everything was colliding at Joe K's wedding. I originally didn't want to go, but Joe K was one of the few college friends I still kept in touch with. He called me personally to invite me and said, I know Hanwin is coming. If it's awkward, I can seat you elsewhere. No need. Just arrange it normally. Are you sure? Positive. Then bring your wife. Okay. I'll put you guys near the head table. Joe K hesitated before adding, Lin Rong will be there too. She's best friends with my wife. On the wedding day at 11:30 a.m., Nyanko and I arrived at the hotel. She wore a soft yellow dress. Her baby bump was very noticeable now, but she still walked with a bounce. Her hair was in a loose side braid, wearing the pearl earrings I bought her last month. I held her hand as we walked into the banquet hall. Near the stage, Jung Duo was already waiting. Today, he had actually suited up and styled his hair. Do I look sharp? He asked, puffing out his chest. Sharp, finally. You don't look like a debt collector. You're the debt collector. Anyway, you look gorgeous, Nyanku. Thank you. We walked inside. The banquet hall was huge, with over 20 tables. The stage was covered in balloons and flowers, and soft wedding music played. As I walked, I scanned the room and spotted the 3rd table on the left. Zhao Hanwen and Lin Rong were already seated. Hanwen wore a dark gray suit, his hair neatly combed, looking like he had meticulously gotten ready. Lin Rong sat beside him in a red mermaid dress, her hair pinned up to show off her neck. There was no baby in sight, probably left with family. She was staring down at her phone with that practiced smile she always wore when she thought people were watching her. Then she raised her head. Her gaze swept across the room and landed on me. Her smile froze. Her eyes drifted down to Nyanku's belly, then to our clasped hands. Finally, she stared at Nyanku's face. I watched her pupils dilate. It wasn't because she didn't recognize her, it was because she did. Nyanku and Hanwen looked strikingly similar, especially around the eyes. Lin Rong stared for 3 seconds. In that brief moment, her face cycled through confusion, realization, shock, and utter disbelief. If her face had special effects, it would be a Hanwen noticed us too. His reaction was even more direct. His chopsticks clattered right out of his hand and made a sharp clank against his plate. Everyone at their table turned to look. I led Nyanku to our seats, which were right next to Hanwen's table, separated only by an aisle. As we sat down, Jung Duo leaned in and whispered, Why do I feel like this wedding is about to turn into a war? Quiet, I murmured. I'll try, but I'm already recording. I snatched his phone down from where he had it propped against his chest. Don't record. What if we get a legendary moment? There won't be one. A voice came from the right. I turned. Hanwen was standing in front of me, clutching a drink so hard his knuckles were white. Did you do this on purpose? Joe K invited me. We were roommates. I forgot. He looked at Nyanku. Just one word. Sharp and clean. Hanwen's lip twitched. Nyanku casually pulled a bottle of folic acid from her bag. Mom told me to give you this. She said you never take it on time. Wait, that was Nyanku's own bottle. She was doing it on purpose. Hanwen obviously knew, and his face turned purple. Nyanku, brother, keep it down. People are getting married. Hanwen took deep breaths, one after another, like he was practicing Lamont. Just then, Lin Rong walked over. She stood behind him, her eyes darting between Nyanku and me. Her voice was barely a whisper. Your new girlfriend is her. Yes, I assumed you'd recognize her. Lin Rong looked at Nyanku and Nyanku looked back. The two locked eyes for 2 seconds before Nyanku spoke first. Hello, sister-in-law. Those words were like a grenade tossed into a quiet pond. The 3 people at the table behind Hanwen choked on their food at the same time. Lin Rong turned pale. Sis, are you my brother's girlfriend? Nyanku patted her belly, her tone sweet. Though his mom doesn't really approve yet, an oblivious uncle at our table whispered to the guy next to him, wait, what is going on with these 2 couples? Who's who? The other guy counted on his fingers before giving up. Draw me a diagram and maybe I'll get it. Over by the head table I saw Joe K aggressively stabbing a piece of cake, his face twitching. His wife was tugging his sleeve. Who on earth did you invite? My wedding. Joe K looked like he wanted to die. Hanwen's chest was heaving violently. He glared at me, his lips trembling. Finally, he spat through his teeth. Shen, do you think you're clever? I wouldn't say clever, I replied, smoothing the napkin over my lap. But since you're asking, I looked up and gave him a faint smile. I do think it's a hell of a coincidence. Hanwen clenched his fists. Coincidence? Yeah. You stole my former and I married your sister. You had 1 baby, and I'm having twins. Do you think that's a coincidence, or is it fate? Hanwen's face drained of color. He opened his mouth, but behind him, Lin Rong was already crying. Her tears weren't from sadness, they were from pure terror. Like a gambler who suddenly realized it is the absolute terror of betting everything on the wrong hand. The MC's voice echoed through the mic. Guests, the couple is about to exchange vows. Please take your seats. Nobody moved. Every eye in the room was locked on us. On stage, the groom, Joe K, looked like an extra who had his spotlight stolen, while his wife was already crying. Not tears of joy either. Joe K, you better remember this. The bride hissed through her teeth. Honey, I swear I had no idea. Let's talk at home. Once the banquet wrapped up, the real drama finally began. It was 8 p.m. in the hotel's underground garage, pitch black outside, with the fluorescent lights overhead buzzing quietly. I guided Nyanku toward our car while Jiang Duo walked beside us, happily humming and carrying our gift bags. Suddenly, fast footsteps approached from behind. Zhao Hanwen's voice sounded raspy, heavy with alcohol. Lin Ro followed him with red eyes, her high heels clicking sharply against the concrete. Shen, you stop right there. I paused and turned around. Zhao Hanwen stood 3 meters away, his face and neck completely flushed with alcohol, glaring at me, his chest heaving. Tell me the truth. You targeted my sister from the very beginning, didn't you? You did this on purpose. Nyanku stepped in front of me. Zhao Hanwen, that's enough. Step back. I'm not moving. Nyanka stood with her hands on her hips, her pregnant belly clearly visible under the overhead lights. Yelling at a pregnant woman makes you feel tough, does it? Zhao Hanwen froze, his aggressive stance instantly softening a bit. I gently pulled Nyanku behind me. Zhao Hanwen, what is your point? I'm asking if you fucking planned this from the very beginning to set me up. I looked at him, his eyes were bloodshot, his lips dry, and his hair messy from the wind. He looked nothing like his polished self at the banquet. Zhao Hanwen, I said quietly. But clearly, you can map out the timeline yourself. Nyanko and I met at the Mix bookstore when she dropped a copy of 100 Years of Solitude. On my foot, we grabbed a coffee and talked for an hour and a half. She never mentioned her last name, and I didn't ask. We met again 3 days later when she texted to ask if my foot was okay. We started dating in the 3rd week. I learned her last name in the 4th, and found out you were her brother in the 5th. She was already pregnant by then. Do you honestly think I could orchestrate all of this? Making a book fall off a shelf onto my foot, having a complete stranger invite me out for coffee, getting her pregnant with twins in under a month. If I planned all that, I'm not a man, I'm a god. Zhao Hanwen's mouth opened and closed, completely speechless. He couldn't find a single point to argue because there wasn't a single flaw in my logic to attack. Desperate, he resorted to his fists. He lunged at me, swinging a punch at my face. It was fast, but he was drunk. His foot slipped and his fist grazed past my ear. Jiang Duo stepped up instantly, grabbing Zhao Hanwen from behind like a helpless chicken. Calm down, man. Take it easy, Jiang Duo yelled, holding him tight. Zhao Hanwen struggled, yelling, let me go. If I let you go, you'll just start swinging. I won't. Let go. Jiang Duo glanced at me. I gave a slight nod, and he released him. Zhao Hanwen panted, hands on his knees, his back trembling. Lin Rose stood nearby, completely silent, staring at me. Her eyes held so much regret, resentment, fear, and a bizarre kind of longing. Shen Yu, she said, stepping forward. He lied to me. He said his family was wealthy and he'd give me a good life. I fell for it, so, if you're willing to give me another chance, Linro, I cut her off. Her hand was reaching out, nearly touching my sleeve. Don't touch my clothes. Nyanku bought this shirt with me. Her hand froze in midair as Nyanku poked her head from behind me. That shirt was 3,800. Careful, Linru's face, drained of all color. Those words again. Every time she heard that word, it was like a dull knife scraping across her face. Her gaze slowly drifted to Nyanku's face, then down to her belly. Her lips trembled. You called me sister-in-law, so you're his sister. You're with Shen Yu. You're carrying his kids. Twins, she muttered, sounding like she was sleepwalking. Connecting these facts made her turn paler with every word. By the time she finished, her shoulders slumped, like a building silently collapsing. Shen Yu, Xiao Hanwen stood up straight, his voice suddenly dropping deep. It wasn't anger anymore, but something else entirely. Who the hell are you? Really, for a long time I didn't want to use my family's name. I wanted my relationship with Nyanku to be completely pure, free of status or calculations. But Zhao Hanwen and Lin Ro wouldn't back down. They needed a reason to shut up forever. Zhao Hanwen, your family company manufactures smart devices, right? He frowned. How do you know that? And 40% of your business comes from the Shen Group. Zhao Hanwen's eyes widened in horror. Your last name is Shen Yu, the only son of the founder, Shen Ji. The garage fell dead silent, save for the buzzing lights. Zhao Hanwen's face turned from red to pale, then to a sickly yellow, finally freezing in a color I'd only ever seen in intensive care units. His knees buckled not to kneel, but because they had turned to jelly. Impossible. He said you ran a small trading business. I did. The Shen Group started out in trading. In my grandfather's day, it really was a small business. Zhao Hanwen staggered, clutching a nearby pillar. His mouth was twitching, but no sound came. Lin Ro couldn't take any more. She covered her mouth, tears spilling through her fingers. It wasn't sadness, it was pure, suffocating, absolute regret. She had chosen Zhao Hanwen believing his family was the better option. Yet behind the backup boyfriend she had tossed aside stood a massive empire she couldn't even dream of reaching. She didn't just choose wrong, she kept a worthless pebble and threw away a gold mine. Suddenly Zhao Hanwen's phone rang, echoing sharply in the quiet garage. He answered mechanically. His father's voice was so loud and furious I could hear it clearly. Did you offend the Shen family? The Shen Group just notified us they aren't renewing our contract next quarter. That is 40% of our entire revenue. What did you do? Zhao Hanwen's hand shook violently. He didn't answer. He couldn't. The truth was too absurd. He stole my so I turned around and married his own sister. Now, his sister is carrying my twins, while his family business is losing our contracts. This wasn't corporate warfare. It was pure karma. He stood there under the fluorescent lights while his father kept screaming. He just stood still. Only after the call ended did he slowly turn to look at me. And then, he laughed a twisted, hysterical laugh. Shen Yu, you win. I looked away, taking Nyanku's hand. It was never a competition. We walked to our car. I paused at the door, looking back at him. As for the contracts, I didn't pull those. You can talk to my dad. Whether he renews them depends on his mood. Zhang Duo opened the door and whispered, well, your dad's mood depends on how happy he is the day his grandkids are born. Shut up and get in. As we drove off, Nyanku buckled her seatbelt and suddenly grabbed my sleeve. You were so cool back there. Why aren't you always like that? I don't need to be. Then why today? Because they wouldn't let it go. She quieted down. I felt a gentle tug on my sleeve. I looked over to see her, hiding her face behind her hair, but her ears were completely red. The twins were born at 9:17 p.m. The older brother came first, weighing 6.2 pounds. 4 minutes later, his sister followed at 5.8 pounds. The nurse carried the two red-faced newborns out to me as I stood outside the door, my knees shaking, not from exhaustion but pure fear. Nyanku had been in there for over 3 hours. I paced the hallway, taking over 700 steps. Zhang Duo sat on the bench, shaking his legs, looking even more nervous than me. They're out, he yelled as the door opened. But he got slammed back by the swinging door, crashing into the wall and hitting his head on a fire hydrant box. He crouched down, rubbing his head, but leaped up a second later to peer into the bassinet. The two newborns were wrinkled, eyes closed, fists clenched tight. Zhang Duo's eyes welled with tears. Damn, he muttered. He wiped his face. They're so ugly, you're ugly. No, I mean, all newborns look like this. I'm just excited. He was babbling. Nyanku's mother rushed up from downstairs, carrying a pot of fresh soup. The moment she saw the bassinet, she froze, then knelt down and touched the boy's cheek with a trembling hand. He looks like Nyanku, she murmured. The eyebrows are just like hers. She looked at the girl. This one has your chin. She looked up at me with teary eyes. Shen Yu, thank you, auntie. Call me Mom, I said. I froze. Mum. She repeated it, Mum. I smiled and nodded. She turned and went into the hospital room. My parents had arrived half an hour before my mother, and my mom was already inside with Neil. She looked pale and exhausted, but she was smiling. When I walked in, she turned to me. Boy or girl? One of each. Yes, I won what? I bet with Zhang Duo yesterday. He swore they'd both be boys, and I said one of each. We bet a box of cherries. You literally just gave birth, and you're thinking about cherries. Yes, jumbo ones. I squeezed her hand. Her fingers were cold but slowly warmed in my palm. Thank you for everything. After a while there was a commotion at the door. Zhao Hanwen appeared. He wore a heavy down jacket, his nose red from the cold, clutching a massive teddy bear almost half his size. Seeing everyone inside, he paused. Mom made me come. He shoved the giant bear onto Jung Duo, who was blinded by it and almost tripped. Zhao Hanwen then walked over to the bassinet, bending down to look. The two little ones twitched their lips. They aren't ugly. Thanks for the endorsement, Uncle Nianku teased weakly from the bed. Zhao Hanwan turned to look at me, his face a mix of awkwardness, resentment, and something else entirely. If you ever treat my sister badly, you already said that once at your place. Then I'll say it again. Treat her badly, and I'll end you. Zhao Hanwen, 40% of your business is still in my hands. If we go to war, who do you think goes down first? His face flushed, but he restrained himself. He took a few deep breaths, then muttered 2 words. Brother-in-law. Everyone in the room stared. Nianku's mother froze. I called you brother-in-law, he muttered, his voice as quiet as a mosquito. Are we good? Before I could even answer, a massive burst of laughter came from behind the giant bear as Duo collapsed to the floor, howling. He said it. He actually said it. Shen Yu, did you hear that? He called you Zhao Hanwen grabbed the giant teddy bear and hurled it at him. Jiang Duo ducked, and the bear bounced off the wall into the corner. Shut up. Zhao Han, did you record that? Give me that phone. Too late, I got it. Jiang Duo backed away. If you post that on social media, I'll kill you. I won't post it there, I'll put it on TikTok. Zhao Hanwen chased Jiang Duo in circles around the room until a nurse pushed the door open. Gentlemen, this is the maternity ward. Quiet down. The 3 of us can stay quiet. Sorry. Nianku watched us, laughing so hard tears came out of her eyes. Can you guys let me recover in peace before starting a riot? Zhao Hanwen straightened his clothes and muttered, I'm out of here. He turned for the door, pausing just before leaving without looking back. When you name the kids, don't pick anything stupid. Then he walked away, his footsteps fading down the hall. Jiang Duo leaned in and whispered, does this mean he finally accepts you? I guess so. I looked down at the bassinet, staring at my 2 little ones. The boy was yawning, and his sister reached her tiny hand up, grasping at the air. I offered her my finger, and she gripped it. Her hold was weak but incredibly tight. It felt like finally coming home. The day we left the hospital, Nianku sat in the back with the babies in their car seats on either side. Jiang Duo drove while I sat up front. In the rearview mirror, Nianku was looking down at our children, sunlight warming her shoulders. She looked up, met my eyes, and smiled. That night I turned off the lights and lay in bed. Nianku was fast asleep, her breathing soft and steady, and the babies were quiet in the next room. I checked my phone and saw a post from Joke. Under his wedding photo, he wrote, to all my guests, next time you want to pull off some drama, please do it at someone else's wedding. My wife still hasn't forgiven me. Thanks to Shen Yu and Zhao Hanwan for the scene of the century. I got over 300 likes and a divorce warning. Thank you all. I chuckled, placing my phone on the nightstand. A sliver of moonlight filtered through the curtains, casting a soft glow on the floor. I closed my eyes. This story started with a positive pregnancy test and ended with 2 soft cries. I don't know what happened to Lin Ro. I heard Zhao Hanwen broke up with her after he returned, citing personality differences. She supposedly lives alone with her kid in some old rented apartment, occasionally posting motivational quotes online that nobody likes. I never look at them anyway. Once people exit your life, they aren't worth a second thought. Nianku rolled over, burying her face in my neck. Why aren't you sleeping? She mumbled. Just thinking about what kind of porridge to make you tomorrow. Millet and pumpkin. Okay, go to sleep. She mumbled in agreement and drifted back to sleep. The moonlight outside was beautiful. I pulled the blanket over her shoulders, closed my eyes, and finally fell asleep myself.